Hello, everyone. We are going to talk to one very interesting luminary here who is basically the chairman emeritus of the Payments Council of India. His name is Naveen Surya, and he is going to share with us some interesting thoughts about how is this new umbrella entity shaping up in India today. So let us just get going. We have been listening to a lot of talk about the new umbrella entity. There already exists a lot of infrastructure in payment entities in India today. But what are those gaps you see today which are not addressed, which these entities would be, really addressing? What kind of technology innovations can these entities bring in? And what are those greener pastures that we can look out for, according to you?
Sure. So, very interesting question, and of course, this has been the question to everyone who's looking to apply and who's looking to participate in this ecosystem. So, a couple of amazing facts about our economy and payments industry. I think we have been literally growing 2.5x every 2 years, 2 to 3 years. I think RBI's ebook on the payments is already talking about it. Last 2 decades, we have made considerable progress from 3% digital to close to 12% digital in terms of a number of consumer penetration. Even today, the digital payment users or our consumers, while we don't have a clear number on the unique user, but the estimates that have been there is about 100 and 150 million, which is like close to 10% or less than 10% of the entire population. While payment as a subject, everybody literally uses money other than infants. So actually, it needs to be penetrated to every Indian or every consumer. So that's one fact. Second has been that despite all the efforts, and it reflects from the point one itself that this digital spend by end consumers is still in digital about 18%. This is also part of the Visa report earlier. So if you look at these two facts, and if you lay over the current growth rates and current participation by all the ecosystem, despite best intention, for us to be a digital nation, which is also a government, let's say, ambition to be a digital India and let's guess, or a digital society, we need to reach at least 50 to 60% of spend in digital. We also need to reach, let's say, about close to 60% of population being, or let's say, being able to use or using digital payments. Now, if I take the current growth rates and look at all the efforts and look at the challenges ahead, it is actually a journey as is, without, let's say, new interventions, about 2.5 to 3 decades. Now, we all know that we don't really want to wait for 2.5 or 3 decades. The task ahead is still long, and good part is India is at a very interesting stage. We've seen during COVID, while a lot of issues were there, but the digital every area, be it commerce, be it payments, every area, or be it even entertainment, every area we have kind of shoot through the roof. So this is a perfect time for us to actually come together and say, hey, can we add a couple of more entities like NPCI did initial innovations, took the growth rates to much higher rate by adding couple of more. Can we create that journey or can we shorten that journey to let's say decade and a half?
So there is definitely going to be a lot of questions around this. What are the greener pastures from which they are going to make money? Any idea about that? Any areas where they are very lucrative?
So I wouldn't get into specific greener pastures or areas because that would be probably too much, but I can give you two or three good points. One is that if you look at the role of a network, and if you take the global benchmarks, your Visa, Mastercard, Amex, and incidentally over last decade, majority of them are figuring in the top two or three financial institutions in terms of market cap, in terms of profitability, in terms of growth. Now you take the same thing even in India with all the already intense competition between Visa, Mastercard, and let's say NPCI. Even then, all three of them have grown rapidly, not just in terms of volume, value of the business, but if you look at their balance sheets in terms of profitability, in terms of every other, let's say, growth in a revenue, they have all grown. All of those numbers have grown for all of them. And also, let's understand that while nowhere I'm advocating or we are supportive of zero MDR, because personally I believe that a business activity done on zero never yields any value for anyone. I mean, rather it should be on the market price. The benefit definitely should be given to those who are deserving, which are like micro entrepreneurs or low value of transaction by consumer. But that should be given like you do in a gas subsidy, right? Where government itself price it full and then say those who are eligible will rather send you that money in your account. So you capture the full real value in the economy, and then you actually give out the benefits to those who really deserve it.
What new experiences can customers expect from the new entities that are coming in into the picture?
So there are two or three areas again for customers where the experience can be radically different as you go in future. One, of course, is even within the existing products, the way, let's say, if you face any issues in terms of your refunds, in terms of your, let's say, customer complaints, the current process tend to be clunky. How do they kind of see the challenge is that now that the ecosystem has expanded between multiple players, including fintech, who's contributed a lot over last decade or so, how do you create an experience which is better even than CAS? That is what is actually going to be radically different, and that actually holds the key for shifting large base of a customer who still prefer to use CAS. So those are like 3 4 macro areas where one can expect.
What new trends we are setting in the compliance norms? How are regulators in India and globally looking at this area?
So one thing we should give credit to RBI for its very innovative thought. I mean, even India was one of the few countries who allowed non-bank, and they are known as a fintechs, to participate directly as a license holder with access to networks, with access to customer with prepaid licenses. So we were one of the very early countries, realizing that we need to innovate, we need to grow. We always wanted a system like you, as a user, when you walk into any, let's say, app or when you download, you have a tiers, right? That you go into a basic freemium model. Then if you want some more services, you go to the next one. If you want some more, then you pay some more, you get some more. So, there is always a kind of a ladder or a value chain concept or a gamification of everything. So there's incentive or punishment for you if you don't, let's say, adhere to that system.
If you can also throw some opportunities that these new umbrella entities can bring in for fintechs to nurture and create a bigger ecosystem and profitability, what are those ideas that you can think of?
Sure. So if you look at historically, before I jump into what are the opportunities? The initial confidence building part was done by the early stage fintech, which were like merchant aggregators, some of us as a PPI, including our previous companies, right? We created that environment. We found our own niche use cases. We kind of got into it. From there came an environment where some of the larger entities came and they challenged the existing ecosystem. So for some time, it was like a tug of war. Who will win? Eventually, we are at a very interesting stage today where both sides have agreed that it is a perfect collaboration opportunity. It is no longer a tug of war. And RBI also have understood that that marriage, if done well, actually works. And you've seen a lot of success in the payment ecosystem today is because of that today. I mean, all the growth that you see in last 2 decades, whether it's IMPS, whether it's UPI, whether it's cards, there is always a non-bank. Today, it is very out on the open, very clear that even if you're a largest bank, you may work with a larger fintech or even a smallest one if it is innovative and it is interesting. But it is very, very clear that they want to work and they realize the importance and the benefit. So it's not about what is in it for me. I think they need to know what is it that they are bringing to the table. If they are clear about that, I think you will get partner of your dreams. It could be large banks, it could be large institutions, it could be even regulators looking at you, up to you and saying, hey, you're doing a good job, keep doing it.
Where are all we heading to in terms of digital currency or in area of private crypto? What is your take on it?
So one thing is very clear that the central bank issued digital currency is a reality. It is going to be there. And I think I remember 6 years back, first time even discussing with some folks at the RBI and trying to do some pilot. So it's not a new subject for them. They understand it. They understand the risk and the challenges, at the same time opportunity involved with it. I would only say in one line that that could be your biggest, let's say, tool for doing digitizing of the CAS. The only challenge I see, so we actually welcome that, and that's an amazing step, and I think that will be a reality hopefully in next few years itself, and that you will see a very different era. The only thing that we get confused as an industry is that mixing of private currency into that, because those are two complete different subjects. The private currency or a cryptos have to be actually, there are three different subjects. One is about the whole trading part of it, which is actually a safety subject. There is some bit of RBI when the forex is involved, but that is how you regulate the stocks. So that has to be regulated, and I think we always are in favor of regulation instead of getting banned. The second part is about raising the funds. So actually, if you were to do a complete digitized process of doing a share IPOs, actually it will be like your initial coin offerings. So there's not much of a difference. It's just digitization of that, lot more reward.
Thank you so much, Naveen.